What's up, guys? I'm BTC, a brand new patch for the live version of the game with a bunch of buffs and nerfs, and this is going to be different than what we just got with the experimental mode. A lot of times they just take whatever they had in the experimental mode and just move it over to the live version, but that's not what they did this time. Instead, they are going to have some different changes from that previous experimental mode. So the first thing is going to be with Baptiste, and this is actually one of the changes that was the same. They just nerfed his exo boots. Instead of taking 0.7 seconds in order to charge up fully, it will now take 1 full second to charge up fully. And their reason for this is they thought that it was too easy for him to escape when he's getting attacked or dived or that sort of thing. Next character is going to be Echo. This is a new change that was not in the experimental mode. This is the ultimate cost was increased by 15%. So it just means that it's going to take you longer in order to charge up your ultimate. They've already nerfed the ultimate quite a bit, where they changed it so that the health that you got when you recover from your ultimate is now only 100 instead of refilling back up to full. And they also have made a whole lot of changes with this character, nerfing the damage and all that sort of stuff. So this is just the latest in all of those nerfs. The ultimate will take an additional 15% in order to charge it up. Next up is going to be Mccree, and these are both the same changes that we got on the experimental mode. The first is that the reload time was increased from 1.2 seconds back up to the standard kind of default 1.5 seconds. So it's going to take a little bit longer in order for you to reload. However, they also nerfed the combat roll, which is going to have a distance reduction of 20%. Now, this was actually brought up, and I kind of agree with this, that this is both a buff and a nerf. So it's a nerf in that you don't travel as far if you're trying to use it as some sort of escape method, right? But it's also a buff because it means that when you attack and use up all your ammo, now that you have less of a roll, you're going to be traveling less distance. It means that you recover a little bit faster than you did before. So it means that you're able to attack again, or to react, or to use your stun or whatever immediately after that roll is over. So yes, it's a nerf to the distance, but it's a buff to the recovery time, so it kind of evens out. Next up is Moira, who's getting a couple of changes. The first is that now your resource meter will recharge 3 times as fast whenever you use your ultimate. This was on the experimental mode, and the reason for this is that whenever you use your ultimate, you obviously can't recharge your resource meter by yourself, right? You can't do it by damage or by healing or anything like that. And they want you to be able to just start healing whenever your ultimate is over, rather than having to finish your ultimate and then quickly start recharging by attacking enemies and then start to heal. They want you to be able to heal after your ultimate is over. And really this makes sense because a lot of other characters like Soldier, Genji, Bastion, Roadhog, and others will get a free reload after their ultimate is over. So it makes sense for Moira to get a kind of a refill on her resource meter. It doesn't even fill it all the way to the top. However, because of this, they added an extra thing, which was not in the experimental mode, which is a nerf to the ultimate. And now the ultimate cost has been increased by 17%. And the reason that they give for this is kind of a dumb one, which is that now because you can heal more after your ultimate, they don't want you to be able to just, you know, use an ultimate and then heal, and then use an ultimate, and then heal, and then use an ultimate. But there's no way that's going to happen, right? Like, it takes a lot longer than, like, the extra little resource meter that you get from the ultimate is not going to completely refill your ultimate meter, not even close. So it's just, it's a really dumb change. The ultimate nerf is pretty dumb and unneeded. And really, this is what this is going to do, is it's going to make it more difficult for Moira to get her ultimate for the first time. The first time you use it, it's now going to be an increase of 17%. Yeah, the second time and the third time will be kind of offset a little bit because you have the extra resource gain from the ultimate usage, but this is just dumb change. So increasing the regeneration during the ultimate is good, and it's a, you know, it's a little bit of a benefit to the character. Increasing the ultimate cost is just dumb and unneeded. But, you know, honestly, Moira has a lot of other issues with the character because the character still has some really big problems with balance issues between the lower bracket and the upper bracket. And really, you just... the main issue is that you don't need to do a whole lot of stuff in order to be really effective with the character. It doesn't mean that you need to turn her into, like, a copy of Widowmaker with, like, super high accuracy requirement. There are a lot of other things you can do in terms of resource management, ability management, that sort of thing, to still make Moira, you know, require more effort to be more effective, but regardless, those are the changes we got, and hopefully we get some bigger changes in Overwatch 2, but for right now, you now can recharge a little bit faster when you use your ultimate, but it's going to take a while longer to build that ultimate. Next up is going to be Reaper, and this really isn't that big of a change. I already mentioned this. They just increased the lifesteal amount from 30% up to 35%, so you're going to get a little bit more health back whenever you attack, which is good for the Reaper, but again, there are still other issues with the character, like this, whatever that was supposed to be. Next up is Zarya, who's getting a nerf to her minimum damage beam. So instead of doing 95 damage per second, it's now going to do 75 damage per second, which is a 20 damage per second nerf, but that only affects the lower end. If you have full charge with Zarya, then you're still going to do 170 damage per second. I really don't know why they made this change. I'm kind of wondering if they're making this change in anticipation of Overwatch 2, because once Overwatch 2 comes around, you're going to get 2 bubbles, and there are going to be a lot of changes. So I'm wondering if they're trying to very slowly change stuff for 6v6, so that when Overwatch 2 and 5v5 comes out, it isn't such a drastic change. Like, rather than going from one thing to just suddenly something completely different, if they slowly change it over time until Overwatch 2 gets released, then it might not be as big of a shift for the player base once they start using those new characters. But for 6v6, this change doesn't really seem like it's necessary. It seems completely just pointless to make this change. So I do have to wonder if they are making this change in anticipation of the 5v5. And speaking of, if you would like to try out 5v5 with all of the changes that we currently know for Overwatch 2, there's a workshop code that is extremely well done. It looks really nice. It works great. We just updated it, so to get rid of some of the bugs and stuff, it is easily the best version of the Overwatch 2 workshop code, and that is going to be H030G, and you can try that out. You've got Zarya with the double bubbles. You've got Reinhardt with 2 fire strikes. Winston has a new ability that looks amazing. We actually, well, when I say we, I mean the other person who helped me with it, Magic Man, he actually animated a new ability for Winston, so it looks like you actually charge up stuff and you get to use it. It looks incredible, and I strongly suggest you go and try it out if you want to look at all of the new stuff. And whenever Blizzard updates us with anything new for Overwatch 2, any of the other changes, then we'll update that code H030G, and you can go and try out all the new stuff. Oh, also, all of the role passives have been included as well. It just looks incredible. Go and try it out. But those are all the changes that we got for the live version of Overwatch 1. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. A big thanks to all the Paragons and other channel members for all your support. If you'd like to become one and grab some cool rewards, click the join button down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like before you leave. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.